Hello, and welcome to the first podcast in this employability series. My name's Sarah Collins, Employer Engagement Manager for Postgraduate and International at Aston University, and I'm here with a special podcast today looking at the Aston Global Advantage. Our focus on careers makes us different to other universities. In fact, Aston University was awarded the University of the Year runner-up for graduate employment in the Times and Sunday Times University Guide 2024. And our Careers and Placements team was recognised as the best university placement student service at the NUE Awards in 2022. We're connected to business and industry through our relationships with thousands of local, national and international organisations. We provide opportunities for our students to meet them at presentations, workshops, skills sessions, and recruitment fairs. Employers include Accenture, Amazon, BMW Group, Deloitte, HSBC, Jaguar Land Rover, KPMG, Microsoft, PwC, Unilever, and many more. The Aston Global Advantage is a module embedded in most of our MSc business courses. The assessed year-long credit-bearing module aims to develop professional and personal transferable skills relevant to any workplace and create a bridge between the degree and the world of work. If you find this discussion interesting and you'd like to know more about the Aston Global Advantage, why not visit aston.ac.uk/Aston-Global-Advantage. Hello, Elsa, Peggy, and Raj, and welcome to the podcast today. Elsa, can I come to you first? Can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you support our students?
Of course. Thanks, Sarah. My name is Elsa Zenati-Daniels. I'm a postgraduate student development lead. What that means is that I source, develop, and manage opportunities for our students to apply their learning in a practical context. So I work with internal stakeholders such as our research centers, but also with external organizations such as SMEs, startups, NGOs, civil rights organization, to really provide students opportunities to work with organizations that can provide a meaningful context for their professional development.
Amazing. And Peggy, if I can come to you next, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you support our students?
Yes, so I am a careers consultant. I've been working as a careers consultant in higher education since a long time now. I've been with Aston for the past 3 years, and I'm part of Careers and Placements. That's the career service at the University of Aston. And my specific caseload is to look after the MSc business students. So the way I support our master students is I do the regular stuff that a careers consultant does. So I provide one-to-one appointments. This can be about career options exploration, values, skills, strengths, development. But I also teach as part of the Aston Global Advantage module. I have the career, managing your career session, so the career education element of the module.
Thank you. And Raj, can you tell us a bit about you, please, where you're from, the course you're studying, and your current role?
Sure. So I'm Raj Naveen Kumar Thakkar, and I came here in September 2022 after finishing my undergrad in mechanical engineering and do my post-graduation in business and management. I know it's quite different, but I wanted different things in my career, so it's just for experience. It's been 1.5 years now, and I finished my third part of the degree in September 2023, 1 year after I started the program. And I started my placement year with Aston University in September 2023, at the end of the September. And it's been 6 months since I'm in this role. I work as a BSS Digital Communications Coordinator, where my job is to make sure all the communication, which is relevant, important, and needed for our postgraduate students, is very, very clear and concise. All at the entire digital ecosystem that we have different IT softwares. We communicate all the important information very clearly, so that there is no navigation queries or any confusion between students at what is what, which is really, really important, because when you're communicating very complicated piece of information like a student has in postgraduate program, like I was having, and I know how making it more simpler would make students' life easier. So that's my job here at Aston University.
Thank you. And Elsa, if we can come back to you for just a moment, can you tell us about the Aston Global Advantage and provide us with an overview of the streams the students can take part in?
Okay, I'm going to try to make this as short and simple as possible. But just to go back to what Raj was saying, his role is really important because, yes, we have to communicate a huge amount of information to students about the Aston Global Advantage. And it's really essential that they get to grip with the information because they complete the Aston Global Advantage as part of their MSc degree. It's a compulsory module of their degree, but it's a module that really brings together all the other subjects that they are studying in order for them to apply what they have learned in a practical context. And we give students a lot of options to do this, to really develop their competencies and skills. And that's exactly what the Aston Global Advantage is about. It is about developing the skills that are going to make them stand out and be employable in a professional context. So I often say, employers don't recruit degrees, they recruit people. So when you go to an employer, you have to be able to demonstrate that you are able to be efficient in a professional context. So what the Aston Global Advantage aim to do throughout the course of the year is to develop the skills needed by industry. That is team working, communication skills, problem solving, critical thinking, resilience, the ability to work in diverse teams, cross-cultural understanding and flexibility. So the Aston Global Advantage is a year-long module. Students throughout the course of the year go through different stages. The first part is about working in teams on a business challenge, which is given to us by an external organization. And we support them through this challenge by providing workshops on working effectively in teams and also how to then pitch back to organization the results of their work. The second part is very degree specific. So all our program directors have developed training programs which are directly related to the content of the degree the students are studying, but are also market relevant. So they've worked with Peggy and her colleagues to really look at what the market needed in terms of the skills related to the specific degree students are studying and have developed those trainings according to this. The final part of the AGA, which takes place once the students have completed their talk program, is the streams, the experiential learning streams. And students can choose from 4 streams, which are aimed to offer a very wide range of options so that students can really tailor their professional journey and career development. The first one is study abroad, which allows students to go and work with one of our partner schools all over the world. And we are partnered with some of the best business schools in the world. Many of them are in the top 10 of the FT ranking. So that's something we're very proud of. And students can go and do a short program with them, or they can go and do a second degree as part of this stream. They can do a work-based experience stream, which is when they actually go and work with an organization, and there's a multitude of ways they can do this. They can work in or outside the UK. They can work full or part-time. It can be voluntary or it can be paid. And the length of the internship itself can range from 5 weeks up to 6 or even 12 months in some cases, just like Raj. The third stream is our business simulation. We work with a Finnish company called Sesim, which provides us with something called the global challenge. And students work in teams to run a global company, and they have to make a range of decisions on how to make that company commercially viable and stay in the black, preferably. But they have to decide whether or not, to outsource their production or whether to have their own factories, which market to invest in, how much to pay their employees. The range of decisions is vast, but what it does is really get them to understand that how an organization really works and how any decisions you make can impact on other departments, etc. So it really gets them to understand the connection within an organization and how essential everything is. And often our students in work psychology or HR, which are a little bit daunted by this exercise, come out of it thinking, I now understand much better how, as an HR professional, as a work psychology professional, I can support people in this context now that I understand how an organization really works. The final one is our entrepreneurship bootcamp. It's called PIPE, Product, Intellectual Property and Entrepreneurship. And students are given the opportunity to develop an idea and may make it into a commercially viable product. They are supported through the process by a team of academics from all our various academic departments. So they get workshops in taxation, workshop in market research, workshop in networking, how to build a project plan, etc. And literally, it is that opportunity to take a company from start to finish, and they act as a board of directors while they work in team on this. Some of our students have then gone on to decide that they wanted to become entrepreneurs themselves, and quite a few of them have done that. But basically what we do with all the stream is really offer the widest possible range of options for students to explore who they want to be when they grow up, and and make mistakes in a safe environment, and really decide what is the best fit for them in their career.
And Peggy, from an academic side, how is this different to other universities?
In the UK, I mean, Aston, as you said earlier, has a long tradition of putting a lot of emphasis on work experience and placements. In fact, that's what Aston is defined by, its focus on placements. Such a model has been replicated in other universities as well at undergraduate level. And when we consider placements that are applied element of your course, we mostly think about the undergraduate study. What is unique about the Aston Global Advantage is that it takes the model we've been using at undergraduate level to postgraduates. So although our postgraduates are here for a year, they have the opportunity to actually experience the world of work and apply their knowledge in a way that we do that throughout 3 years at undergraduate level. So as you can imagine, it's very intensive, but it's very practical. And I think that's the key thing that distinguishes our business master's courses here. We know anecdotally from students, and I think probably Raj would support me on this, that at the point of selection of university for master's courses, we know that Aston Business School courses have been selected by our students when they've had offers from other universities because they liked the Aston Global Advantage. They realized that there is something there which is quite unique. And something that is worth mentioning is because of how master's courses are designed and how we run the AGA, and since the majority of our postgraduate students are actually international, what the Aston Global Advantage offers, which again is quite unique, is they have, as international students, with all the visa restrictions, work restrictions that come under their student visa, they have an opportunity to actually gain up to 6 months or even a year work experience, like in the case of Raj, whilst they're still students. So by the time they complete their course, they can already say that they've had, at least 140 hours of work experience, if not 6 months, if not a year, like in the case of Raj. So this is a model that worked for us really well, even before the graduate route visa. So when there was no option for because the post-work study visa had been actually become obsolete, we were it was possible at Aston University for our master's students to actually gain that work experience.
Fantastic. And Elsa, did you have anything to add from that academic side as well?
From the academic side, I think one of the things that we do very well with our students, and actually which is a very, very hard thing to do, is we ask them to reflect on how they're learning, what they are learning, and what they're learning from either their successes or failure. We use a tool called the Aston Competency Wheel, which really maps out a range of essential skills that have been highlighted time and again by employers as something which are highly desirable. And, it's always teamwork, communication, etc. Again, critical thinking, problem solving. And we introduced this at the beginning of the year and asked students to put themselves on the map and then show us, start to think how they've developed throughout the course, what activities they've undertaken, what they've learned from them, how they would do things differently next time, and how we get them to think about the consequences of the decisions they make, the way they behave in a professional context. So it's that deep reflection as well about what makes them a professional as opposed to being a student and just taking on knowledge, but then acting on what they're learning and applying it knowingly. I think that also is what makes the difference. And it is called the global advantage because the skill we are aiming to develop are really transferable into any industry, any context, any country. They're not specific to the UK. You can take them anywhere. And particularly in this age of AI, where, humans have got to make the difference, and degrees can become obsolete very, very quickly, because AI is replacing a lot of things. The one thing that we can give our students is those human competencies that will, no matter what, remain usable and transferable no matter what happens with their work. If they have to transfer to pivot very, very quickly from one role to another. So that's why we think it's now more than ever that skills building and skill development that we offer, and that opportunity to apply those professional muscles in a safe context is more important than ever.
You asked me, Sarah, what is different about how we do this at Aston. There are a lot of employability initiatives in other universities at master's level. I guess one key differentiator here is that ours is compulsory. Systematic. So our students cannot graduate from their master's course unless they complete the Aston Global Advantage module, which is about employability, and it's an integral part of their course.
And that also gives us then more of a push to prioritise that support for students, doesn't it? It really puts it as an important strategic part of what we're doing.
And one of the key challenges as well with how the courses have been designed is actually all that taught element of the course happens in the first 6 months, which actually makes it really intensive for our students. And for them, especially for a lot of them that have been out of education for some time, we have a combination of students straight from undergraduate studies that are still used to studying, but the majority of them from a different culture. So they have to understand the UK way of academic teaching. But then we also have very experienced people that haven't studied for a long time. And then they come, and in 6 months, they have to do what you would do in another university in 9 months. So traditionally in master's courses, you do 9 months of taught study, and then you have the last 3 months to do your dissertation. Whereas what we do here is we compress all the taught element in the first 6 months, and then we give them 6 months where they can actually concentrate on their employability and their dissertation.
And sometimes the two meet, because we have many students who are actually completing their master's dissertation with an organization. This is one of the options that we give them as part of the Aston Global Advantage, is to actually work on a sort of live consultancy project, which forms the basis of their master's dissertation, but is also the opportunity to work directly with the company to really get to grip with real issues from industry. So,
thank you. Raj, I'll come to you next. Thinking about the course you've studied, if students are looking at an MSc business course in the UK, how do you think the Aston Global Advantage differs from things that other universities have?
Right, there are a couple of things that I'd like to mention, and just to give you a background of how I selected Aston University itself. Going through the business ranking, in top 100, I selected 6 universities, if I'm not wrong, and I got offer from 4 of them. The only reason that I selected Aston was Aston Global Advantage. The reason being, all the other universities, 2 of them didn't have the professional practice year, which they call in academic language. And one of the university had a professional practice year, but there was nothing around it. So if you can, secure a placement, you can take it. If you cannot, you cannot. But the AGA, it mentioned how it can help you bridge the gap, as you mentioned initially in the podcast. And I think it's really and truly about that, because the wonderful team that we have, Elsa and her team. So what Elsa and her team does is they give students what they need. And then what Peggy does is curate what is given by Elsa and see how that can be used for employers to get, to get into the recruitment process, and how all the skills can be, how all those skills can actually help you in your life when you actually grow and increase your career chances. It's all about careers. It's not only about just delivering the module. Like a lot of universities, I have friends from big universities, they say it's just sometime about delivering the modules. And I believe it's not just about delivering the modules when they tell you that we really care about your future. And I am an example, because when I came here, being an international student, your life is really, really fast paced. You have to get the job, you work in MSc program, which finishes in 1 year. The first 2 terms, which is the first 6 months, they actually help you not just as academics, but as your mentors as well. So they teach you a lot of things about life, just not about delivering the program. After the 6 months, I applied to one of the placement role at Aston University, which was opened by Elsa's team from College of Business and Social Science. And after I got it, I am working here full time on a student visa, which is really, really important to me. First of all, it gives me a chance to get the UK work experience for 1 year, which I would find very difficult after I graduate, because I only have 2 years. So I don't have options to try and see what works out for me and what doesn't work out for me. So first of all, that gives. And second, university's placement team really, really helps you get what you want. Because as soon as I got invite for the interview from the role that I applied, I emailed Peggy, and I remember Peggy did not have appointments. So in last 48 hours, I was like, Peggy, I'm really, really confused what to do here, because I want to prepare for the interview. I just woke up 48 hours before and I'm realizing I have to prepare for the interview. And she said, okay, you know what? Let's do this. She gave me 1 hour on the same day, 1 hour on the second day, and on the final day of the interview, just before my interview started, I was in her office preparing for the interview, did 3-4 mocks and smashed it. I got the job, and 6 months down the line, I really, really am grateful to people here at Aston for delivering the module, for helping me get through the placement year, how I'm getting through, helping me get the role and all the experience that I'm getting. At the end, all I would like to say is, I know I worked at Aston for 6 months. I have studied Aston for 1 year, and I know how people here care about people. It's not about professional or capitalism, or it's not about just money and stuff. It's about people. So AGA really, really helped me to get this placement role.
Can I add something to this?
Of course you can.
Yes, Raj absolutely smashed his interview. Peggy did also a great job preparing, and it's been a real for us. It's been a real opportunity to have one of our own students looking at what we do and help us communicate what we do to other students. What I'd like to point out is that those sorts of opportunities, are few and far between. Raj is the only one we've been able to employ. So while we very, very much do our utmost to source as many opportunities for our students to find a job, to go to the next stage, I don't want to paint too much of a rosy picture as well. It is a challenging environment, but actually we think that this is why the Aston Global Advantage is useful, because it does prepare you to think as a professional, to start acting as a professional. Most of the activities that we offer, particularly for the work-based experience stream of the AGA, students still have to apply for jobs. It's still very competitive, same for study abroad. So it is also preparing them to be professional, to even in the CVs they put together, the way they think about their careers, we ask them to engage with us in a professional manners as well, to think of us almost as their bosses when they communicate with us as part of the module, because again, it's a really important way of getting into that mind frame of what happens next.
And I imagine that sets people up for the future in a way that you can't really get until you go through that process.
Yeah.
Indeed. And it is developing that confidence. It's often it's that confidence is having been exposed to it once, even in a a college context, even if it is, a simulation, you still gain that confidence in the decision you are making, in the way you are interacting with other people. We often mix the teams from different courses, so students don't know each other, and they have to make it work. They have to find ways of working effectively together, and that's a great part of the learning. And we put an emphasis on that. We say team working, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And if it's really, really hard, the harder it is, the more you'll learn from it. So we put them in difficult situations sometimes, but there's a very good reason for it.
That leads on really well, actually, to my next question. So thinking about the skills that students develop as part of this module, what do you feel are the main ones? I know you've kind of mentioned about the skills wheel already, but is there anything else that you think are the kind of main standout ones? I'll go to Elsa first.
I think really and truly, because of everything we throw at them, resilience is one of them. Resilience and adaptability, taking in all that information, all those options, and sifting through them and making decision making is a big one. Because we are so international in our students based as well, it's definitely the ability to work in diverse teams. And it's not just about culture, it's about neurodiversity, it's about different styles of working. So this ability to work effectively with other people, and obviously communication, always. The ability to communicate effectively, for me, is the top one. And in communication, I include effective listening as well, being able to listen, really listen to other people's perspective and take it on board. That's absolutely essential for me. There are others, but I'll let Peggy and Raj.
What are your thoughts, Peggy?
I agree with everything that Elsa said. I think nowadays in the world of work, and because of how complex problems of our society are, this multidisciplinary approach and interdisciplinary and cross-disciplinary approach. So when Elsa talks about group work that our students need to do, we have to explain as well that we force them to actually collaborate with people from different courses. We try to make sure that, because we have lots of different nationalities, we try to mix the nationalities as well. So when they go to do a group project, they will be hearing from people that have completely different cultural background, religious background, ethnicity, work experience background. Some are really fresh into the world of work, some are very experienced, different personal lives as well. So, they could have to be a bit more patient with someone who has to drop off their children at school, whereas they're actually available because, so this kind of situation, and you have to develop empathy and start understanding other people's point of view and why people may be behaving in a certain way. And the other thing is that challenges we put for them to do in the first term, which is the business challenge. It is a project, a real client, but something that raises their awareness about what life in the UK is, particularities, challenges perhaps in the region of the West Midlands. And we do push them. They will get out of their comfort zone. So, for example, last year, that project that was offered for them to work in these multidisciplinary teams was about Birmingham Pride. Now, if you think that some of our students come from countries where homosexuality is a crime, sometimes even facing the death penalty, having to educate themselves and really see how things are different in different countries and have to exchange views with people that have their own, they've been educated in a different way. So there's a lot more into the Aston Global Advantage than meets the eye. I think they're thrown into the deep end and they have to challenge themselves. And at the end of the day, if this is making them too uncomfortable in a bad way, then that's a way of realizing actually is UK where I want to live and work, because, some of the issues they are dealing with a business challenge, they're going to have to face them in the world of work in an everyday life here in the UK. So, yeah, I think throwing them into the deep end, challenging themselves. So I guess the key skill they're developing is self-awareness. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts, Raj?
If I come to the skills that I really develop and all the students would develop in AGA, Aston Global Advantage, I think one of the key important skills that employers are looking for is problem solving. And it's just not only about, oh, how would you solve this business problem, but it's about, oh, how would you solve this problem, which will be, as Elsa mentioned, working in team is really, really hard task to do. And I've been working in different teams, and I know how hard it is. Before that, I didn't even realize it was this hard. So solving problems in communication between your colleagues, solving problems in how you explain your point of view, these are all the problems that actually employers are looking for, that you how you solve it. Because I am doing a lot of assessment processes these days for my next graduate role. And the top employees include KPMG, Accenture, Deloitte, NatWest, HSBC. And everywhere, when I do my assessment in second, third stage, I receive a case study. And in case study, they're asking, oh, how would you approach this problem that you faced with your colleague? How would you approach this problem that you faced with a manager? And only one question is regarding your business case. Most of the situational judgment test or question that you receive are regarding your people behavior, people skills, rather than your actual academic skills. Because they know that if you have basic fundamental understanding of your academic skill, you can actually develop them while you're working in the role. And this is common for all the employers, no matter it's tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, all the companies, everywhere. At least 15 to 20 questions you'll be asked regarding people, how you are as a person, how you view other people, how you work with other people. So that skill at AGA really, really puts emphasis on developing, because we have three teamwork projects, if I'm not wrong, and one individual assignment. And then we work in business simulation, which is real life business case study in the group. Again, Birmingham Pride, I personally myself worked in a group. So that's number one skill. And second skill, so recently, with the help of our careers team and absolutely Elsa again, I had a chance to work for 3 months for Accenture as a part of my module while I'm doing my placement. So that's an opportunity I really would like to highlight, because not everyone really, really gets this learning and development opportunity with such a huge company like Accenture. And I remember after 3 months of module delivery, I had to present, our group has to present a presentation regarding cloud computing and business case. And one of the person, Michael, there, he mentioned after the presentation, and he came to me, it's really, really obvious. I can see that people with a professional practice here or a placement here really, really differ from people who don't have any experience. And that is really important for me to reflect on, because I know if I did not do the placement 6 months, I wouldn't know how to carry myself. If I put it this way, I wouldn't know how to answer the questions that they throw at me. And I don't know the answer, but I have to just find my way through in the moment. And he said, how you answered the question, it was really obvious that you worked in industry for up to 6 months, and not everyone was able to fine tune the answer the way you did, just because I know how to work with people. Because questions were regarding just not the business case, but around the teamwork and how you approach problem solving. So communication, how you carry yourself, how you want to communicate your solution or problem or opinion, and problem solving, I think both of them are the key skills. And I think all the other skills are under this umbrella, if I'm not wrong here.
That's great to hear how it's kind of impacting on
Yeah.
your current kind of work going through assessment centres for
Yes.
next roles.
Yeah.
One thing I would add in there as well is that it's quite important for people to know, I think, that the reason why there are certain skills that are embedded in that way is because we use real labour market intelligence and feedback from real employers to develop our programmes. And obviously what you've experienced there shows the results of that, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Really.
Fabulous. So that brings our episode to an end. Thank you to Elsa, Peggy, Raj for your time today. It's been great to hear about how the Aston Global Advantage enables students to start their career during their postgraduate course. A reminder, if you're interested in finding out about the Aston Global Advantage programme anymore, you can visit aston.ac.uk/Aston-Global-Advantage. Thank you.